Welcome to tonight's latest news bulletin live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. Good evening, and first the headlines. The Sultanate of Oman achieves a budget surplus of about 210 million Omani riyals by the end of February. The Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation signs a cooperation agreement on the governance of private training institutions. And Green Energy Oman project studies the production of about 25 gigawatts of renewable energy. Thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The general budget of the Sultanate of Oman achieved a surplus of around 210 million Omani riyals by the end of February 2022. The Minister of Finance said that the total revenues of the state by the end of February 2022 reached around 1.9 billion riyals, with an increase by 75.6% compared to the same period last year. The financial performance bulletin issued by the ministry pointed out that the increase came due to the raising in the average oil price that reached about around $81 per barrel, in addition to the increase in the average oil production and gas revenues that reached 509 million Omani riyals, beside the increase in the current revenues by 29.6%, as well as due to the collected revenues of the value-added tax and other fees. Green Energy Oman project has initiated a number of measures to implement the necessary studies to produce about 25 gigawatts of the renewable solar and wind energy. This energy is to be invested in the production of more than 1.5 million tons of carbon-free green hydrogen annually. OQ Group indicated that this project will enhance the Sultanate of Oman's global position in this field. The company also stated that it's looking forward to further development in this project in cooperation with its partners. With advanced technology devices, Atiyab Lab for Food Technology provide accurate checking and analyzing services for food products to ensure their safety for microbiology and pesticide. Food staff analyzing and checking their safety from pesticides and other microbiology that affect the public health is the main focus on the lab, which also provides pesticide services with eco-friendly materials. A specialized work team in food chemistry, microbiology technology will analyze the samples in accordance with the Omani Gulf and the international standards. The availability of Atiyab Lab for food technology in the Omani market will provide a wider area and more accuracy for the food products and cosmetics to match with approved health standards that will enable the consumer to use them with confidence. The Shura Council reviewed today a number of ministerial reports and responses, including amending the monthly pensions of Social Security families, fees for cutting and connecting water services, raising the salaries of those eligible for housing grants, setting an upper limit for external transfer of foreign workers, attracting investments in the face of international competition, and the role of national transport in reducing congestions in Muscat Governorate. The meeting was presided over by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al-Ma'wali, Chairman of the Shura Council. The Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation Oman Center for Governance and Sustainability and Petroleum Development Oman signed a cooperation agreement on the governance of private training institutions in the Sultanate of Oman. The agreement aims to create a governance guide for these institutions, as well as to promote and encourage the exchange of experiences in various fields. The ministry will carry out the management, supervision and follow-up of the implementation of the governance charter. On the other hand, the center will prepare and implement the charter and the governance guide, while the company will finance the project. You are with the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin. The Oman Manuscripts exhibition in Muscat sheds light on more than 15 ancient manuscripts, the oldest of which dates back to 900 years. Once again, welcome to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. European Union Trade Chief Valdis Dombrovskis said today the European Union sanctions on Russia oil and coal are definitely an option if the bloc's member states can reach a consensus. He made the comments as European Union finance ministers arrived in Luxembourg to discuss the economic consequences of sanctions, financial aid to Ukraine, and a global minimum tax agreement.
I think that there is a total determination of all the 27 member states to reinforce sanctions. And that's the key point. I also think that preserving the unity of the 27 member states when we are deciding on sanctions is absolutely key, because the efficiency of sanctions is directly linked to the unity of the 27 member states. The French president made very clear yesterday that he was open to extend sanctions to coal and oil. We will see what the position of the other member states will be, but I think that if there is a possibility to have unity on the 27 member states on these new sanctions, I don't know what the position of all the 27 member states will be, but the position of the French presidency is very clear. We stand ready to reinforce the sanctions. Oil and coal are a possibility, and then we need to discuss and to build unity among the 27 member states.
The COVID-19 outbreaks in China's largest metropolis of Shanghai remains extremely grim amid an ongoing lockdown, confirming around 26 people or million people to their homes. The director of Shanghai's working group on epidemic control said the outbreak in Shanghai was still running at a high level and the situation is extremely grim. Shanghai recorded another 13,354 cases yesterday, the vast majority of them asymptomatic, bringing the city's total to more than 73,000 since the latest wave of infections began last month. No deaths have been attributed to the outbreak driven by the Omicron BA2 variant, which is much more infectious but also less lethal than the previous Delta strain. More areas of makeshift hospitals installed in the Shanghai's convention center will open to receive people with mild or no symptoms. China has sent more than 10,000 health workers to aid Shanghai in the outbreaks, including 2,000 from the military aid, and is mass testing residents. Some have been locked down for weeks. A train derailed and overturned after striking a vehicle in southern Hungary early today, leaving 5 people dead and others injured. The accidents occurred just before 7 a.m. in the town of Minszent. Police said a flatbed truck carrying workers drove onto the train tracks and was struck by the train, which derailed from the force of the collision. 7 men were traveling in the truck at the time of the collision. 5 of them were killed and 2 others taken to hospitals with serious head and limb injuries. Hungarian State Railways indicated that all those killed had been traveling in the truck. It said that 22 people were on the train at the time of the collision. 2 passengers were seriously hurt and 8 others suffered mild injuries. 10 ambulances and a helicopter were dispatched to the scene. Once again here in the Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Minister of Culture, Sports, Youth, marked the Arabic Manuscripts Day. More details coming up in this particular report, where we'll have a look at all what is going on there.
The 4th of April every year is observed as Arabic Manuscripts Day. In celebration of this occasion, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth held an exhibition for Omani manuscripts at the Al Araimi Boulevard in the Wilaya of Atiyab.
I told for everyone in Atiyab or in anywhere in Oman to come to see this event. There is a lot of Arabic manuscripts and Omani manuscripts as well. We can to show it here. So really I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to see that Omani how to let's say improve that things for a people to everyone seen like this.
The exhibition, which is entitled Our Manuscript Heritage in the Time of Globalization, includes more than 15 rare and ancient Omani manuscripts.
The Ministry of Culture, Sport and Youth sought to highlight these manuscripts through publishing and digitizing projects under the umbrella of Oman Manuscripts Gateway in cooperation with Omantel. The website contains nearly 2,000 high-quality digitally illustrated manuscripts.
مجموع السير والجوابات, a collection of biographies and answers, is one of the most prominent manuscripts displayed at the exhibition. This manuscript is regarded as the oldest Omani manuscript found ever, that dates back to more than 900 years. Modes of the Holy Quran is another unique manuscript. It is named the 7 Modes of Recitation, as transcribed by the calligrapher Sheikh Abdullah bin Bashir bin Mas'ud al-Hadrami. Such occasions foster the cultural and historical values of manuscripts in the society. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Saleh Bukhalfan al-Rahbi, Muscat.
Thank you, Saleh. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultanate of Oman achieves a budget surplus of about 210 million Omani riyals by the end of February. The Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation signs a cooperation agreement on the governance of private training institutions. And Green Energy Oman project studies the production of about 25 gigawatts of renewable energy. And with that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studio, it's good night and stay safe and healthy. Ramadan.